Luxury car fans are starting to ask new questions about some of the most expensive vehicles in the world. One of the biggest names in this discussion is Bugatti, known for making some of the fastest and most expensive hypercars ever built. These cars can cost millions of dollars, and buyers expect everything inside them to be unique, rare, and specially designed. For years, Bugatti built its reputation on the idea that every part of the car is special and made only for extreme performance and luxury. Even if the engineering behind the car is still advanced. The story also highlights a bigger stage the situation started to change when mechanic and YouTuber Matt Armstrong began rebuilding a crashed Bugatti Chiron on his channel. His goal was simple at first. He wanted to repair the damaged car and show the full process to viewers. But as he worked deeper into the vehicle, he started noticing something unexpected. Some parts inside the car looked very familiar, almost like parts used in much cheaper vehicles. One of the most talked about discoveries came from an airbag inside the Bugatti. Armstrong removed the passenger airbag and found a part number that matched components used in the Volkswagen group. This was surprising because Bugatti is expected to use highly specialized parts. When he checked more carefully, the airbag seemed very similar to one used in an Audi A3, a much cheaper car. This raised questions about how unique Bugatti parts really are. This discovery matters because Bugatti is owned by the Volkswagen Group official website, one of the largest car companies in the world. The Volkswagen Group also owns many other brands, including Audi and Volkswagen itself. Because of this, some part sharing between brands is normal in the car industry. It helps companies save money and improve production. However, people did not expect that parts in a multi-million-dollar hypercar could be so closely related to those in everyday cars. The main concern is not just about sharing parts, but about honesty and expectations. Buyers of Bugatti cars pay millions because they believe they are getting something completely unique. These cars are marketed as masterpieces of engineering, built with extreme care and special components. When a part looks identical to one found in a much cheaper car, it creates confusion. People start asking if the price is really justified, or they're paying mostly for the brand name and performance tuning. Some experts and industry voices argue that this situation is not unusual. In modern car manufacturing, even luxury brands share platforms, electronics, and safety systems. It is a practical way to build reliable vehicles. However, critics say that brands like Bugatti should be more transparent about what is shared and what is custom-made. Without clear information, buyers may feel mange in how people view luxury cars today. In the past, buyers trusted brands without question. But now, with social media and channels like Armstrong's, more information is available to the public. Car enthusiasts can see behind the scenes and check parts themselves. This makes it harder for luxury brands to rely only on image and reputation. Every detail can now be inspected, shared, and debated online. In the end, this story is not just about one airbag or one car brand. It is about trust, expectations, and transparency in the luxury automotive world. It shows how modern buyers are becoming more informed and less willing to accept claims without proof. Whether Bugatti parts are shared or unique, the discussion has already changed how people think about supercars. And as more investigations continue, luxury car makers may need to explain their engineering choices more clearly than ever before. The story became even more intense when the discussion moved beyond just one part and into the wider engineering of the car. As more people looked closely at Bugatti vehicles, the focus shifted from curiosity to debate. Some viewers started asking whether the entire idea of ultra-exclusive engineering in hypercars was being misunderstood. The key question was no longer just about one airbag, but about how much of a $3 to $4 million car is actually unique versus shared across a large corporate system. As the investigation around Matt Armstrong's rebuild spread online, opinions quickly split. Many car enthusiasts felt shocked and even disappointed, believing that a brand like Bugatti should not be using parts that appear in much cheaper cars. Others argued that this is how modern automotive engineering works. In today's world, even high-end manufacturers rely on shared platforms for safety systems, electronics, and internal components. The difference, they said, is not always in the individual parts, but in how everything is tuned, designed, and assembled as a complete machine. This debate became stronger because of how Bugatti is marketed. The company presents its cars as rare masterpieces, built with extreme attention to detail and performance. When buyers spend millions, they are not only paying for speed, but also for exclusivity and identity. That is why even a small connection to mass-produced parts feels important. It challenges the emotional value of ownership, even if the technical performance of the car remains untouched. At the same time, the automotive world reminded people that Bugatti is part of a much larger structure. Being owned by the Volkswagen Group official website means it naturally shares engineering resources across brands. This includes companies like Audi and Volkswagen, which produce millions of vehicles each year. From a manufacturing point of view, this is efficient and logical. It allows companies to meet strict safety standards while controlling costs. However, the challenge comes when the shared system meets ultra-luxury branding. As discussions grew, supporters of Bugatti pointed out an important detail. Even if some components are shared, the overall engineering of a hypercar is still highly specialized. The engine, aerodynamics, chassis tuning, and performance systems are far beyond what standard cars can achieve. They argue that a shared airbag or electronic module does not define the value of the car. Instead, it is a complete integration of thousands of systems working together at extreme levels of performance that makes the vehicle unique. However, critics remain unconvinced because perception plays a huge role in luxury markets. When someone pays millions for a car, they expect not just performance, but total exclusivity down to the smallest detail. This is why discoveries like the one made by Mechanic and YouTuber Matt Armstrong spread so quickly online. They create a gap between expectation and reality, and that gap becomes the center of public discussion, even if the technical explanation is more complex. The situation also highlights a major change in the automotive industry itself. In the past, brands could carefully control information, and customers had very limited access to technical details. Today, however, social media, video content, and independent rebuild projects make it possible for anyone to inspect and analyze high-end cars. This transparency means luxury brands are now under constant public observation, and even small details can become global talking points within hours. As the debate continued online, the story began to move beyond just technical curiosity and into something more emotional. For many wealthy owners, a car like those from Bugatti is not just transportation. It is a symbol of success, identity, and status. That is why even small discoveries about shared components feel much bigger than they might seem on paper. It is not only about engineering anymore, but about what the car represents in the minds of its owners. What made the situation more intense was how quickly information spread. A single rebuild project by Mechanic and YouTuber Matt Armstrong was enough to trigger global discussion. In the past, such technical details would stay hidden inside workshops and factories. Now, however, video platforms allow millions of viewers to watch every bolt being removed in real time. This level of transparency has changed the relationship between car brands and the public forever. As more clips and explanations circulated, people began to compare luxury expectations with modern manufacturing reality. Many viewers were surprised to learn that even ultra-expensive cars may use components from the wider Volkswagen ecosystem. Since Bugatti is part of the Volkswagen Group official website, it is naturally connected to a massive industrial network that produces millions of vehicles every year. This system is designed for efficiency, reliability, and safety compliance, which often requires shared engineering solutions across different brands. However, the emotional conflict remains strong, because luxury branding works differently from mass production logic. When customers pay millions for a hypercar, they are not thinking about platform efficiency or shared supply chains. They are thinking about uniqueness. They expect that every visible and invisible detail has been designed specifically for that vehicle. So when something appears familiar, it creates doubt. Even if the performance of the car is still world-class, at the same time, automotive experts pointed out that sharing parts does not automatically mean lower quality. In fact, many shared components in modern cars are extremely advanced and heavily tested. Safety systems like airbags, electronic controls, and sensors often go through strict regulations. Using proven parts can actually improve reliability. But the key issue is not technical quality. It is perception. A part that feels common can reduce the feeling of exclusivity, even if it performs perfectly. This is why the discussion around Armstrong's findings became so powerful. It wasn't just about whether an airbag matched another car. It was about what that match symbolized. For critics, it suggested that the line between hypercars and regular luxury vehicles might not be as wide as marketing suggests. For supporters, it was simply a reminder that even the most advanced machines still rely on shared engineering foundations. As the conversation grew, one thing became clear. Modern luxury is under pressure like never before. With open access to information, every claim can be tested, every part can be examined, and every mystery can be challenged. The age of blind trust in supercar branding is fading, replaced by a new era where transparency and scrutiny define how people judge even the most expensive machines in the world. As the debate intensified, the story began shifting from a simple technical discovery into a much bigger question about trust in the entire supercar industry. For many owners of Bugatti, the issue was no longer just about one component. It became about whether the image of total exclusivity still matched the reality of modern car manufacturing. When you're spending millions, expectations are built on the idea that every detail is unique, almost like a piece of art rather than a machine. This is why the discussion around a rebuild work of mechanic and YouTuber Matt Armstrong gained so much attention. His videos did not start as an investigation, but as a rebuild project. Yet as viewers watched the process step by step, they began noticing patterns that felt surprising. The closer the inspection became, the more it seemed that some components were not as exclusive as people assumed. The reaction online grew quickly because modern audiences are far more technically aware than before. With access to forums, teardown videos, and global discussions, viewers can now compare parts across different vehicles in seconds. This is what made the airbag discovery so powerful. It was not just about a single part. It was about what it represented. If one visible component appeared similar to a mass-market vehicle, people started questioning how many other hidden parts might be shared at the same time. It is important to understand how the automotive industry actually works today. Bugatti operates under the larger structure of the Volkswagen Group official website, which is one of the most complex automotive networks in the world. Within this system, sharing platforms and components is not unusual. It allows companies to maintain safety standards, reduce development costs, and speed up production. Even luxury brands benefit from this efficiency, especially when dealing with advanced electronics and safety systems. However, the problem is not engineering. It is expectation. Buyers of hypercars are not simply purchasing performance statistics. They are buying exclusivity, identity, and emotional value. That is why even a small overlap with mainstream vehicles can feel shocking. The idea that a part inside a multi-million-dollar car could exist in a much cheaper model creates a psychological disconnect. Even if the performance and safety are identical or superior, as more people analyze the situation, opinions became divided. Some argue that this discovery changes nothing about the car's true capability. A hypercar is still defined by its engine, aerodynamics, materials, and extreme performance engineering. Others believe that luxury branding loses meaning if too many components are shared behind the scenes. The debate became less about mechanics and more about perception, marketing, and trust. The situation also highlighted how modern transparency is reshaping luxury industries. In the past, car manufacturers controlled nearly all technical information. Today, independent creators, engineers, and enthusiasts can inspect, rebuild, and publicly share findings in real time. This shift means that even the most exclusive brands are now exposed to constant public review, where every detail can be questioned and discussed globally within hours. In the end, the story around this Bugatti rebuild did not deliver a simple answer. Instead, it revealed a growing tension in the automotive world. The gap between how luxury is marketed and how modern engineering actually works. And as more information becomes available to the public, that gap is only likely to become more visible, forcing both manufacturers and buyers to rethink what exclusivity truly means in the age of open information. As the conversation spread further, the tension around the story began to shift into something even deeper. It was no longer just about whether parts were shared, but about what people actually believe they are paying for when they buy a car from Bugatti. For many owners, the price tag is justified by more than speed or engineering. It is about owning something that feels untouchable, something built outside the normal rules of mass production. That is why the rebuild content from Mechanic and YouTuber Matt Armstrong created such a strong reaction. His work did not attack the brand directly, but it opened a door that most people never expected to see. By showing the inside of a crashed hypercar being rebuilt piece by piece, it removes the mystery that usually protects luxury vehicles from scrutiny as viewers watch more closely. They started to realize how complex modern car manufacturing really is. Even a company positioned at the very top of automotive luxury still operates within global supply chains. Since Bugatti is part of the Volkswagen Group official website, it exists inside a massive system where efficiency and standardization are essential. This system produces everything from economy cars to hypercars, and naturally, some engineering overlap is almost unavoidable. But even with that understanding, emotions remain strong. The reason is simple. Luxury is not only logical, it is psychological. When someone pays millions for a hypercar, they are not thinking in terms of shared modules or platform engineering. They are thinking in terms of uniqueness, rarity, and identity. So when a familiar-looking component appears inside the vehicle, it can feel like a crack in the illusion, even if nothing about performance has changed. The debate then evolved into a broader question about